Right, a pleasant morning to you, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Good Morning Africa, live from our studios at number 48, Swanika Street in Abilingpe. Also live on Facebook. Make sure you do well to join us. Facebook.com/Pan-African Television, YouTube.com/Pan-African Television. Across 46 other African countries, we are being watched via satellites in some parts of Europe and, of course, South America. My name is ALORMASOR. Always a pleasure to hold the fort in Kwame Danso's stead. This morning, I've been joined by Gabriela Tete of the National Democratic Congress. Gabi, good morning.
Good morning.
It's been a while. It's been a while I saw you. Last week you were here. No, you weren't.
Last 2 weeks, I think.
Both of us have been on campaign trail.
I came and I disappeared.
Both of us have been on campaign trail, so.
Yes.
Yeah, understandably so.
But you have to let them know which campaign trail you are on. You're on the prestige level. Hey, I'm on the grassroots level.
That's the irony. People like
but you're following flag bearer. That's prestige level.
People think
I'm doing door to door. I do knock at the side. House to house.
Right. But it's been interesting so far. I mean, the very fact that you are getting to see different people, different communities. We've been to upper east, we've been to the Volta region, we've done bits of Accra. Currently the campaign trail I think is in the Bono and Bono East region. I'm not there because right now we've been divided. So this first set to go, the next set I'll be part of that.
So you are not worn out.
Yes, exactly.
It's actually tiring.
Yeah, very, very tiring. But it's eye-opening. You get to see different people.
Did you see how popular you are? Were you able to?
I'm telling you, wherever I went. People be taking pictures with me. People be taking pictures with me.
It's Pan-African that impactful.
You know.
It's when you go into the hinterlands.
Yes, that you really.
That's when we really appreciate Pan-African TV.
True.
Because a lot of those big networks that we admire in Accra and those big cities, the network doesn't reach those areas.
That's true.
Those areas. Yeah. So anybody who underestimates Pan-African and thinks that the platform, because you're not as big as those big names in Accra and the rest, your impact is not.
We are actually very big.
It is big.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go into communities and people, they see me and they mention my name.
But where did they see
you? You know,
yes.
That's the thing.
You go to other
and then you're like, did you call me? And they said, yes, I watch you. I said, okay, where? Pan-Africa. Like, oh, okay.
But it's not only Pan-Africa you come to, by the way.
I go to other platforms. But a lot of them like to just say, I watch you on Pan-African.
Right.
So you are making an impact.
Yeah, we are.
You are doing your part for Mother Ghana.
We are.
Keep up the good work.
We are. And thanks to our cherished viewers across the country, those of you who watch us from all corners of Ghana, we are extremely grateful. We have viewers across the continent too. Thank you so much for your time. Also this morning, we've been joined by Mr. Eben Ajomahe Agbenya. I want to believe that the name has been rightly pronounced. He is part of the Conventions People's Party. He is the Congress Secretary of the CPP. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
It's my first time meeting you.
Sure.
I look forward to a thrilling, insightful conversation.
Absolutely.
Right. So without further ado, we'll look at our topics that we have tabled for this morning's conversation. President, I nearly called him former president. Well, he has some.
He's almost out.
He has some 116 days more until he becomes a former president. I think.
No, we are 90 days to the election.
No, we are 88 now. So 88 plus from 7th December
to the next 7th.
To 6th, yes. So roughly some, 116, 117 days more until he becomes a former president. But
I'm in a hurry to say
President Akufo-Addo made some comments yesterday at the bar conference. He says, if you do not like his free senior high school, you can just take out your kids and then enroll them in a private institution. And we shall be looking at that. NDC to protest over voters register anomalies. The chairman of the National Democratic Congress has come out to say that 17th September, I think that's next week, the party will be protesting the many anomalies in the voters register. That would be one of the topics that we shall be discussing today on the show. Also, EC must act with impartiality. President Akufo-Addo, the NDC would feel that this comment is ironical, especially when card-bearing members of the New Patriotic Party have been appointed to the Electoral Commission. And also, we lack political will to fight galamsey. Former Minerals Commission CEO are set. So these are the topics that we have found conversation worthy on the show this morning. As usual, the text line, as you can see, 055-991-9802, 055-9919-802. These are the number, or this is the number to send your message. Also on WhatsApp, this number is on WhatsApp, so you can save the number and send us a WhatsApp. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'll be more than glad to read it as the show progresses. But without further ado, we'll get into our very first topic for conversation. The free senior high school policy has been a good one largely. A lot of people have been enrolled in schools and they are not paying fees. We've seen the number of students in our senior high schools skyrocket over the years thanks to the free senior high school policy. But we can't also overlook the fact that there's a policy that has been rife with a myriad of issues of infrastructure in secondary schools, students not having places to study, the red, gold, green system where students would have to come home for a particular period, sometimes over a month, 2 months, and then go study for just about 3-4 weeks. It's a big issue. It's come under serious scrutiny. But the president has responded. He said, if you are not content with the free senior high school policy, of course, you think you have your own money, you can just take out your word from any of these government schools and then enroll them in a private institution. These are the comments of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Let me start with you, Gabi, on this one.
Let me say good morning once again to our viewers. I forgot to mention in my earlier comments that the national chairman of the NDC is starting his campaign tour in the central region this morning. Right. At Autu Senior East. From Autu Senior East, we have 2 programs in Autu Senior East. Then we have 2 programs in Autu Senior West, in Jekodia and Bodjas for Autu Senior West. Then from there, we're going to Porton in Gomoa East, and then we'll end the day in Efutu constituency, which is Winneba. Right. For today. Tomorrow, we're doing Agona East, Agona West, Gomoa West. There's free SHS. Free SHS, a policy that was supposed to bring much relief to the ordinary Ghanaians. It appears that it's now becoming a policy or a program that is rather becoming a contentious issue, not only in our body politics, but in people's day-to-day programming, in managing their secondary school kids' education. When you come to Central Region, you know, we have most of the grade A schools are in Central Region. And so for us, we feel the challenges of the free SHS more because it's affecting the quality of education that these grade A schools were providing prior to free SHS. Everybody wants their child to go to Holy Child, Wesley Girls. When it's time for computer placement, everybody is pushing to have their kids in these schools. And now these schools are overburdened, overstretched. The infrastructure is not enough. Recently, government went to put up, when you come to Wesley Girls, government came to put up a boarding facility, which is like the shape of a matchbox. The designer is not impressive at all. It's right next to my house. So I wake up and I see it every single day to remind me about what an impressive design. Bless, it is like this one, square like this. And then the opening is inside here. Everything is 4 square. The whole building is 4 square. So ventilation wise, it's like enclosed. If you go and build this thing for prisons, I'll understand. But aside that, our own school prefect at this year's speech and prize giving day mentioned that today young girls are sitting in classrooms on plastic chairs because there are no chairs and tables available. And in the dining hall, they are now practicing shift system even in dining hall. When I was in Wesley Girls, the day student population It was just about 2 or 3. And that was for those of us who were from the community. You know, so accommodation was not a problem for us. But people who were coming from other parts of Cape Coast and the rest, they were given accommodation. At that time, I don't know whether they thought I would be stubborn or what. Even me, who was right next to the school, they put me into boarding school. Because we didn't have issues with accommodation. And all of us slept on single bed. We didn't even have bunk beds those days. So we were comfortable. But now, because everybody wants to be in these schools, we've jam-packed a lot of these schools, and now the quality is being affected. Bless. But we need to move beyond the complaints. President Akufo-Addo came to continue a policy that JM started. It's obvious that he did not know, or he did not understand just how to roll out the program. So it was mass production, and the consequences we have felt. When you ask academicians, when you ask those who are doing research into free education, the policy and all that, the issues, we know them. We know what the problems are. What are the solutions? For the NDC, our case is simple. We need to find dedicated funding to fund free SHS. 2, we are taking off the capping mechanism on Get Fund funding and releasing Get Fund monies to Get Fund to be able to expand on infrastructure in these schools. We are going to continue with the e-block project to bring education to the doorsteps of communities. And anybody who comes and shows you a picture that there's an e-block in the middle of nowhere, remember this: the government did not impose locations of e-blocks on any district. The constituencies, the district, chose their own locations based on what is convenient to more than one community. So if the constituency, the district, thinks that if you put it in the middle of A, B, C, D, E, so A, B, C, D, E will have equal access to that facility, that is where they went and put the building. It was not a decision of John Mahama. Now, additionally, we want to decentralize the supply of food to these schools. Why it's what's it called? What's that company even called? The ones who buffer stock. Buffer stock. Yeah. Why is buffer stock an intermediary in providing food for secondary education? Buffer stock is supposed to buy aggregate from markets, put from farmers and aggregators, store and put on the market when food prices are escalating to bring down inflation. They've stopped that job. That's why food inflation is so high. We can't manage it. And now they have turned themselves into food supplies for secondary schools. I think they are Ghana Food Distribution Company. We will bring an end to that mechanism, and we decentralize the procurement of food supplies to the schools.
I understand. If headmasters will be in charge now.
There will be headmasters and bearers, just as was done in the past. And this time, we want headmasters, when there's an issue in the school regarding the program, we want them to be bold and tell us where the weaknesses of the problems are in their various institutions, so we can fix the problem. Because you see, if we play cha-cha with the education of our young people, we are going to create generations of people who are coming who only know how to do cha-cha because of what we have put them through and programmed them to become. So for the NDC, the case is simple. Decentralize the food supplies, support the administration of the school to be more outspoken and accountable on the program, so we help each other, find dedicated funding, improve on the infrastructure, and then also to also look at the teacher welfare. Because since this program started, we've put so much pressure on teachers. They are working harder than they should. It's affecting their health. They are spending transportation up and down. There's a whole lot that teachers are going to. And so we have a whole program which is also designed to support the teachers of this country. But bless, let me conclude on this free SHS thing as this. The president's comment was very rude. For a man of his caliber, and Akufo-Addo disappoints us by the day. At this point, I don't know if Akufo-Addo can do anything to even impress even a dying cockroach. It's just, if you don't like free SHS, send your children to private schools. I don't care. The man has lost it. The man has reached a level where it appears he himself realizes that this one is beyond the dead goat syndrome. This one is like some kind of attitude, you know. Some kind of attitude. And I'm actually not surprised that as a country, today we find ourselves here. One of our topics is Galamsey. But before we jump into that topic, because we have other topics in between, let me say this. Bless, you do know that, as I was saying in my earlier submission, that a majority of the best schools in Ghana are in the Central Region. Water is a big problem for us in Central Region. Now we have two of the biggest universities and a technical university. We have Cape Coast Technical University, we have University of Cape Coast, and we have University of Education Winneba. Plus we have all these secondary schools, Ghana National, Agri, Infantiman, Infantipim, Adesada, Augustus, Wesley Girls, Holy Child, grade A, almost grade A, grade B. Now, if we experience water shortage worse than we have today, what will be the impact on the educational system, not just on the Central Region, but on Ghana? Because of water crisis, the calendar of Central Region's education is affected, and we have to send these children back home to their parents. What happens to Ghana's educational system? Because some people think that we should allow a few connected rich people who are milking this country for its resources to have a free day, whilst our water reserves, our water sources in Central Region are heavily polluted. Ghana Water has already put the statistics out. But we, those who live in the southern part of Central Region, who have to grapple with poor water quality, not just from Kakum, because that's the key water source for Cape Coast and Elmina and its environs, we are also having to deal with a problem where these waters come contaminated. There was one day I wanted to wash, and I was looking for buckets, and I wasn't finding the boy to help me with buckets. So I saw a white paint bucket, and I went to pick it to fetch water inside to add to the buckets to wash. After fetching water, I forgot about the washing. I went to Roma. Then when I came back, I realized that there was this silt that had settled at the bottom of the tap water, and it was golden silt. So I was telling the boy in the house, hey, at this rate today, we can just fetch Ghana water and just distill and then see if we can get some gold out of this from the tap water. But when I was pouring it out, I was saying to myself, so those who are drinking this water, no, are they aware that they are drinking whatever this silt deposit is and whatever is inside? As much as Ghana Water will try to use alum and all kinds of stuff to try and clean it, end of the day, this one came straight from the tap. And in addition to that, the water we are buying, the sachet water we are buying in the region, do we know whether it has met standard specification, or people sit in their houses and then they manufacture and then they come and distribute to us? Because unlike places like Greater Accra, where they have eagle eye on products, even though one sometimes things bypass them. For Central Region, FDA and Standards Board and things like that, they are not that strong in these areas. So what are we consuming? So it is a critical issue affecting not just livelihoods of those around those communities and cocoa and all those things. For us in Central Region specifically, I don't want to see a situation where, because of Galamsey, even our educational system is truncated. When you see the number of people who troop into the region to be educated, and what that number does to the Central Regional economy, and have them moved out because of disruptions to water supply and its impact on the region and on education, we have to show more seriousness than what we are doing. So free SHS, the Nakufado, and Benoso, no Banawano, fellow Ghanaians, please, the ball is in your court. Vote for change and let us fix what is wrong with free SHS.
Right. Thank you very much. I'm expecting Saka Salia to join the team pretty shortly. But let me move away from Gabriela and also remind you that I'm receiving messages. If you have anything to share with me relating to the topics that we've selected for this morning's conversation, let me know. I'll read them as the show progresses. But let me now turn my attention to Mr. Agbenga, who is the Congress Secretary of the Convention People's Party, to also pick his thoughts on this particular topic.
Bless. Thank you very much. Let me greet your viewers this morning, particularly those from CPP. And where I teach, I greet my colleague teachers on campus. The president's take, or to say that those who do not like his free education can take their wards to private schools or anywhere. To start with, I think it's not the best of commentary to be run by a sitting president. It is not said anywhere in this country that free education is a bad policy. It is a very good policy that any group or ideologues must project in a society like ours, where over time we try to package our system in such a way that we grant our people education that will be very good, that anybody wakes up and go to school. So it's good that we have free education. But that notwithstanding, today, just like any brilliant policy that any government across the globe will implement, it will surely come with its good aspect and bad aspect. Much as we be praising the good aspect of that policy, we should also be able to look around and see the challenges that the policy comes with over the years. Then we go back to the drawing board to ask ourselves, is there any way we can look at them and tackle them so that we improve upon quality? If you have a policy running and you have difficulty to assess yourself and the policy to see how good is being implemented and working, and the problem it has so that it is solved, then there is nothing called monitoring and evaluation. Absolutely, that's the point. So it is good at this point. We know what is good about free education. Yes, it is been able to help us as a country increase our enrollment in schools, so that young people who would have been in the house, particularly after BEC, they are in school because of free education. It is good that we enhance knowledge. We will shape the thinking of young people beyond secondary education. So there are a lot of pluses around. Even if there is one negative thing, it is something that we should look at and find a way of making it better. Yeah. So just like the president today, from the time he started to do active politics and looking at policies, he has tried over the years to praise people he feel like praising, even himself, for what he's doing good, and then condemn things he's seen that previous government and president have done in the past that he didn't like, even including his own former president. Nobody will tell me that when his president himself as minister was ruling this country, I mean J. Kufuor, he has not in any way criticized any program of Kufuor in the bedroom. Perhaps openly he wouldn't do, but he has. Anybody would have done that. So if you as an individual, you have that right to criticize what is bad and to praise what is good as far as governance is concerned, he should also know that now as his president, the same way people will also look at policies he's running. In fact, not only those of us in opposition, but those even in his government, those in his cabinet. It is not anything he's doing that members of his cabinet all accept. Much as they all go and they sign and agree, deep in the heart of some individuals, they leave cabinet meetings unsatisfied. So if the Ghanaian people or section of the Ghanaian people say, President, Yes, free education is the way to go, but there are some other issues. And anybody, there are a lot of teachers in the MPP. The Minister for Education, I'm told he's been a teacher before he came down to this country. He's gone around the country over the years since he became deputy minister and minister. He cannot tell me that he's not seeing problems associated with free education. The president himself, from where he sits, he cannot tell any Ghanaian that he'll be an honest president to say that he hasn't noticed any difficulty or challenge with the free education. So if it is so, if you are told, why must we be angry with ourselves? Why must we angrily speak to insult the intelligence of the Ghanaian people? So there are problems. We must solve them. The CPP started free education in Ghana, and everybody knows. You must not read the history book to know that the free education as we see today started this year or when Anado came. It started far back during our first republic. So that if we are migrating from that time up until now, it is that the problems that characterize the start, we should be able to overcome them over the years. Today, if you go to our schools, there are problems with facilities, whether accommodation, whether lecture halls or classroom blocks, whether feeding place or dining halls, furniture in classrooms, and so on. There are problems. Much as there are problems doesn't also mean that the system should not run. We should run, but one thing at a time will solve the problem. If you ask people to leave or to take their children if they can't cope with the free education, where do they take them to? So they should go and pay money because you have given us free, and anything associated, whether bad or good, we should accept it like that. We should not. Then we are not fair. Then we are not practicing democracy. So on this note, I just want to say that yes, the policy is good, but the president spoke in a way he shouldn't have spoken. This is what I would want to say about what happened over the weekend.
Right, thank you very much. Mr. Agbenya is a teacher, and so he experienced. Please, do you teach in a senior high school?
Yeah, I teach in a senior high school and a university as well.
Right, so I think he understands the issues very well. He knows what he's going through as a teacher with regards to this shift system. But somebody actually made a concern, raised the concern some time ago, especially for the fact that there's a shift system. I don't know what the current state is now. Do we have better, more infrastructure now to accommodate these students? And also, how is it like being a teacher, especially in this system? Do you go on vacation with the students for, say, the red shift, and then come back another time? How is it like all year round you are stationed in the school?
The truth of the matter is a lot of the schools, especially the first class schools, I am in a first class school. The population of students in our schools is huge because every parent and every student is in a first class school in this country. And so we have that numbers where if you want to bring all the three groups, first year, second year, third year, into an environment today, you will not be able to manage all of them. So we are not running the shift, but what we are doing is that, unlike when we started that, you have, let's say, first year class, you have green gold. That is no more in the system. This is the fact. It's no more. So like that time, you have first year green, they are in school, first year gold is in the house. No, this time, if they are first year group, all of them are in school. So for example, as we speak, our third year students are in school. They are writing WASI. Our first year, second year students are on campus. They are preparing to also vacate. Our first year students are not in school, they are home. But this month, they will be coming. The thinking is that by the time they come, the third year student would have finished exams and go. So there will be space. This is the issue that we have. It's not affecting anything seriously for us though. There is also the case that if I teach in Form 1, for example, currently I am a Form 1 teacher. My section is not in school. And because they are not in school, I have class in Form 3 And because they are writing WASI, at least the pressure is reduced for the teacher a bit. There are others also, they have large classes in Form 1, let's say Form 1. So that is where you teach. Once they are not on campus, you are not supposed to teach, but you must, as part of the policy of Ghana Education Service, you don't have any holidays. When your track is even in the house, you are expected to be reporting to school because your headmaster might need your assistance or the administration might need your help. A colleague teacher might not be able to be present in class a day or two for ill health or for any emergency. Your services will be needed there. Aside of that, once your track is home, you have that liberty also to be home. So that is how it is as of now.
Right. I'll do a few messages. Alhaji Said Kucho and Evans Ayari Bila from Zebila, Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm, Ken Williams, DJ O'Malley. All of you have sent messages. Let me try to go through some of them. Good morning. Please, President should understand that Ghanaians know what is called free education. Since Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's regime, was it like this? You created your own system which won't go with the people of today. Everything is basa, no proper knowledge for the youth. Why? Okay, thank you, Alhaji Said Kucho, for your message. Evans Aya Bila from Zebula in the Upper East region says there was no need for the president to utter that statement. He doesn't own the country to dictate to Ghanaians. Mr. Host, come to think of it, the primary and junior high level is being neglected prior to free SHS. We Ghanaians have condoned this arrogance enough. Basic schools is resuming today. Go around the nation and see the state of the schools. Very sympathetic and heartbreaking. Greetings to you and Gabriela. This government must know better. All right. Thank you very much for your message. Kucho come back to say that people should mind their speeches sometimes. All right. Thank you, Kucho, for your message. Ken Williams says, good morning, bless. Galamsey is a weapon of mass destruction and a first-degree felony against the state. Again, UN Resolution 2573 of 2021 sees water pollution as a war crime and an act of terrorism against the state. So these culprits aren't only guilty of war crimes, but also candidates of ICC for their genocide against the state. It's high time we staged positive action against these nation workers who seek to enrich themselves at the perils of human life. NPP is the biggest enemy of state and a threat to national security and peace. Pa Willie, thank you, Pa Willie, for your message.
I'm glad this guy sent this message. I forgot one thing. Bless. You know that Akufo-Addo is co-chair of the SDGs.
The Sustainable Development
Eminent persons on SDGs. We have to petition the Secretary General
to remove him.
Fast. This man has plunged over 850,000 people into extreme poverty. That alone is against SDG. So, and then on top of that, look at what we've done to the environment. What is sustainable about what Akufo-Addo is supervising?
Well,
he should be relieved of that position immediately. He doesn't deserve that position.
Right. Samson Vance says, good morning, bless. Nanado is frustrated after giving stomach ulcers to senior high school students. He wants Ghanaians to praise him. The shambolic way of implementing this free senior high school shows that he has failed. He should have consulted the nation builder, John Mahama, before going ahead with this messed up so-called free senior high school. Sami in Adenta. Thank you, Sami, for your message. This one here says that my name is Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm, and good morning, my brother. Truth be told, my heart bleeds for this nation. Today, pregnant women give birth to children without mouth, some without fingers, and a whole lot. And we are being told by functionaries of this regime to politicize the issue of Galamsey. To not politicize the issue of Galamsey, my brother. The issue of Galamsey has already been politicized because top politicians in this government are involved in Galamsey. And when you read the Fourth Estate document, you will see where I'm coming from. President Nanado told us that he was ready to put his presidency on the line in the fight against Galamsey. But the same president has passed the law through parliament to allow illegal mining in our forest reserves. My brother, who does that? Today we are told by the majority chief whip that the NDC polluted the waters more than them. This is irresponsible and shameless comments from him. The future of this country under this wicked government is pregnant and hopeless. Hamza, Alhaji Hamza, thank you so much for your message. This one here also says that, good morning, blessed. Ex-President Mahama cannot become president again as he's incompetent and nothing positive can result from his leadership. Ghanaians should be wise and refrain from supporting Mahama, or else we will deeply regret it. In regards to Samir Wuku, MPP parliamentary candidate for Ekwapim North, and Honorable Evans Opoku Bobi, Sunafo North MP. All right, thank you for your message. Right. A reminder that we are live on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you do well to join us if you can't watch from your television sets. Now, let's move away from that. Please do not call me, I beg you. Don't call the text line. Just leave a message. Let's move away from that. Let's proceed to our next topic for conversation. It's about 88 days more to election 2024. A lot of us will be going to exercise our franchise, those of us who are 18 years and above. But the NDC have been asking some serious questions with regards to the voters register, and on the 17th of this month, which is next week, there'll be a nationwide protest against the Electoral Commission with regards to some anomalies in the voters register. I think it's only right that Gabriela Tete, who is the Central Regional Communications Officer of the NDC, tell us a thing or two about this particular protest. And of course, we do know the reason behind it, but haven't they resorted to other measures to addressing this? And what would be the result if this plea or if this protest falls on deaf ears? Perhaps the court? Is that where they'll be going next if the Electoral Commission doesn't listen to this planned protest?
That decision will be taken by party leadership in consultation with the flag bearer. But at the moment, what's the national chairman yesterday when he went to present the flag bearers' nomination forms to the EC as our candidate for the presidential elections, what he announced and what our flag bearer has also announced is a protest in every single region. Why? Because you see, these registers are created from polling centers upwards, and the apex is at the National EC office. Now, we've made inroads into the National EC office to have discussions with them. At the point, we even wanted that discussion to be broadcast live for everybody to hear what the issues were. And the issues borders on the voters register. And anomalies, especially when it comes to voter transfers. In Central Region, Honorable Atoforsen's constituency alone recorded over 3,000 strange people who had been put on the register. Now, what the EC did, even that, in Central Region, our EC elections director told us at a meeting that in Central Region, the anomalies alone amounts to almost 23,000. And for an election, that is determined 50% by plus one single vote per the Constitution. Only one person can determine who becomes president of this country. When there's discrepancies of, it calls for great worry. And when EC at the national level, at the regional level, at the district level, you bring these issues to their attention, and they have some way of trying to shove the issue. It's not something we can push under the table. As for CPP and PNC and all those political parties, they can decide that they are not interested in what's on the register. But for NDC, we are the largest opposition party in this country currently, with membership over 6 million, who voted for us at the last election. And these people who voted want to ensure that come December 2024, that their votes will count and their votes will matter. We cannot sit aloof and wait till December 7th and raise issues if there are problems at the with the register on D-Day. So, and you know that election, the whole election thing is a process that culminates into a day. It is not a one-day event. So if there are critical issues with the register itself, EC ought to sit down with the political parties and Jojo and not just Georgia, but find a solution to addressing the duplicate names and the transfers, illegal transfers that has gone on on the register. Somewhere in the north, a district director and the EC themselves confirmed that their director transferred over 2,000 people, that the people even knowing that they have been transferred. So you go to registration center on D-Day, thinking that your name is on the register in Abelempe polling center. You go, they check to the register, you are not there. You don't know where they've sent your name. Are you going to jump from polling station to polling station to polling station to go and look for your name in the register? Do you think EC will even have time when you go to their district office and tell them that you can't find your name on the register, for them to even do a search and tell you that, oh, you are not voting Abelempe, you are voting downtown, getting close to Alajo. That's where your vote has been transferred to. And you don't live there. You don't know anybody there. You are not from there. You did not register there. So how did you find your name there? So there are serious issues on the register. And you see, the EC is playing a game. When it came time for the voter register, they deliberately sat on the registers and released the 24 hours to the voter exhibition. Bless. When you are dealing with the register with almost 15 million people, and you give the political parties 1 day to review and make sure that the register they have, when they reconcile with the 2020 register and with the data that we have also gathered during the registration processes, and you want to give us 1 day to reconcile these documents and come for exhibition. What kind of life is that? What kind of life is that? So in fact, the call for a massive protest in every single region is justified. Because as I said, in Central Region alone, those 23,000 people that are on that register, they must prove to us who they are, where they come from, where they transfer their vote from. They have to explain. When they show us, it's not coming to talk English to us, so they must show us in detail and track them. From polling station from this region, we're transferred to this region. We want to see evidence of the path. There's digital footprints when you do any migration. We want to see feely that these people really exist. Not somebody's who just concocted imaginary people that they have come to place on the register to come and use to do their gerrymandering on election day. So the demonstration is coming on live. It is a worthy cause. Every single Ghanaian who wants their vote to be counted on December 7th should participate in this process, not just NDC. Every single Ghanaian who believes in the democracy of this country and who wants to call for accountability of our institutions, because under Akufo-Addo's regime and Bawumia's regime, accountability of our institutions is lacking. That is why the EC can do this and think that they can get away with it. After all, again, that's their LPP hierarchy EC. They want to come and use that to gerrymander us December 7th. Tell them we are coming to their original offices in red, clad in red, with our flags and everything. They must show us who those people are. Else, we've told them this is a simple issue. The UNDP is willing to fund you to work on this data. Two things: you either face us in the red, or you go and accept the UNDP's offer and reconcile the data. Let us have a peaceful election. You have a choice.
It's interesting. I read something very interesting from I think the whole world constituency around the Vili area. So there's a polling center there, and then you go and look at the register over there. The people on the voters register there are over 2,000. Meanwhile,
one polling center.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the maximum is 700 or 600.
Meanwhile, the total number of people living in that community is voters and non-voters is around 600.
So the transfers alone has
skyrocketed.
For Amewu.
Well,
Amewu, he's losing the election.
Well,
no matter what he does, he's losing the election.
Well, I received so many messages, so many of them. Good morning, my brother. This is Kucho, Youth President of the Ashanti region. Please, about the voter registration issues where the NDC is looking up, is the issues that the NDC is looking up to are not the problem. it is important, but the polling agents, especially in Ashanti region, I know many constituencies that after 4 p.m. they load the ballot papers in the boxes, that they pay the agents through some big men in the NDC. Care should be taken, proper care should be taken. Wallahi. Okay, this is an advice to you.
But the most important thing is the register, because if you have genuine people who
so
have to vote and they are not on the register, then there's a problem.
So it's true that people actually pay some of these polling agents. They pay them
but human beings are human beings.
Okay, well, right.
You haven't seen your friends who can be your best friends to get to know they tell you.
I wonder what criteria you guys use to select your polling agent. But this time
I can't divulge some information to you because it's not right for me to do that. But I can assure you that Omane Boame and Yaira and Doc and Dr. Computer are all on top of their game.
Right.
They are not leaving anything. In fact, I prefer this current elections directorate to the 2021. These ones are very serious people. They know what they are about.
They are not about tea and biscuits.
They are not about tea and biscuits. And going to Dubai. They're coming to tell us the service in Russia and Dubai, and then 1 hour the thing breaks down.
Right. Good morning to you, your panelists. If anything happens in Ghana which will make 2024 election not credible, must be tagged on the EC. I would advise them to accept what NDC is demanding from them, because it was NDC who identified all those mistakes in the register before they realized it. So because of no trust in them, the audit is very important. Seth Adector from who sent this one. Thank you, Seth, for your message. Good morning to you and your panelists. Your report on the Free Senior High School is right. But your panelists' report on the Free Senior High School is right, but you fail to add that some of the teachers in the single track schools teach throughout the previous year without any significant break. This is a serious challenge of the Free Senior High School policy. Ben from Wale Wale. Of the teachers. Right. Good morning, Pan Africa TV. Bless. Please tell NPP to stop this, their malicious behavior, because we are not in the Banana Republic. They are only enforcing law. They are only enforcing law capriciously into their own citizens. What crime did we commit to vote you people in power? December 7 is just around the corner. NPP will never see power. NPP will never see power again in this country called Ghana. All right. Thank you for your message. Does the NPP think Ghana is for them? They should please give us a break and let us work on fixing our country, because the true state of this nation will only be revealed after this shameless administration is sent back to opposition. Shame on the EC. Bandex from Tamale. Thank you, Bandex, and good morning to the people of Tamale. Thank you so much for doing the watching. This illegal transfer of voters, assumedly those from perceived NDC strongholds, is what the NPP is colluding with the EC and terming as winning by strategy. The register must be audited. Igwe Felix Grant, Akanyi, Dabala Junction. Thank you, Felix. I see you, Mr. Stephen Peng, who is doing the watching from the Upper West region. Good morning, Blessed. Nana has now come to the realization that review is not cancellation. No wonder the students are assisted with PASCO to make the grades which the government which the government touts, always having turned out Nana graduates. But ask the teachers in the universities and the lecturers what the caliber of students they are teaching now are. Nana, you have killed our education. Stephen Peng, thank you so much for your message, and good morning to you. I trust you're fine. This one here also says that the president has now conceded that there are challenges of the Free Senior High School policy. That was why he asked parents to send their awards to private schools. From Francis Agbota in Anglogan Volta. Thank you, Francis, for your message. Dear fellow Ghanaians, please, with the greatest of respect, kindly permit me to ask the following questions. Is surface mining the only means by which jobs can be created for the youth of our country, Ghana? If no, why should we allow it to cause an environmental suicide for all of us? Sajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah banned surface mining and allowed only underground mining. Please, let's continue with this policy of Sajifo so as not to give the impression to the rest of the world that Ghanaians have very low IQ. That is why the galamsey nonsense and wickedness is going on. Thanks, Reverend Ignatius, Reverend Father Ignatius James Yawan Ponsa Achim Intronan. Thank you so much, Reverend, for your message. I'll do this final one. Then I come to Mr. Agbenya. Good morning. Please, now we are tired of this MPP and NDC. Let's others also come to power. Okay. Thank you so much for your message. I'll read the remainder in the course of the conversation. But let me now turn my attention to Mr. Agbenya, who would also share his 2 cents on this particular issue in relation to the Electoral Commission and the National Democratic Congress, who are raising concerns over the voters register. Mr. Agbenya.
Yeah, bless. The NDC, I heard the national chair yesterday talked about the party planning demonstration regarding inaccuracy in the data that is being generated by the Electoral Commission. Let me acknowledge that over the years, the Electoral Commission has done very well, or has improved over time on our electoral processes. Looking at where we started, or where we're coming from, 1992. They are doing well. Each election cycle, they try to improve upon their processes and activities. But there is this thing that we must establish, that if you have data and the accuracy of that data is challenged, what it means, therefore, is that that data cannot be fit for purpose in academic. So then, if there are discrepancies as of today regarding data that the Electoral Commission has mobilized from districts across the country, it is only good that we reason together as a nation to identify the shortfalls in that data and see the appropriate way to address them once and for all. Where we are today as a nation, we have tried to understand democracy, much as it's not the best for this country or Africa. In our own small way, we have come to appreciate and understand the system we are practicing. Political groupings have also tried to improve upon their understanding of democracy and multi-party elections in this country. We know annually or continuous mobilizing or cleaning data for electoral processes is the way to go. But once you are doing that, and if you are not mindful of what you bring out, it will create tension. So I am saying that if we have problem with electoral register, which we want to use for one of the serious elections in this country, then it is only good that we put in our best effort to making sure that whatever data we produce or register we produce will be the best or close to best. If you have a register where you go to a constituency and you realize that, or a polling station or electoral area, number of people who vote there is becoming a problem, then there is a challenge. From Sunday or Saturday, I have sat with guys and we are looking at those who endorse the CPP presidential candidate materials. You try to track some of the information that we have on the voter ID card and the polling station in particular and the code. They don't match. They don't take you to where the person votes. You have to try another way and realize that that person is either on a polling station B or on a special voting list. There are others you try, you can't trace them. And this is a card the voter is holding, which was not produced by he himself, but by the body that conducts election in this country. So if you do not take time to do this due diligence, you take this country to a place where it's not supposed to be. So at this moment, it is only for the Electoral Commission to listen to the views of all political groupings, that what is the best practice. It is that only that can take fear among our society and voters. For where we are today, if there should be any crash, Electoral Commission will be blamed for at least 60%, because the political parties understand what we are doing. They know their numbers. They are calling for numbers, but they know that if there are problems, those problems will come from the one who holds the material that we are taking to the polling station. That will be counted that day. And it is the Electoral Commission who holds that material. So before we get there, we have space, we have time. We must all take time to appropriately do what is expected, that the data we are using this year, it is a data that all political parties, not only the MPP or the NDC who is going out to demonstrate with timeline, no, but even with the smallest political party, that we are all fair, going into a fair election, so that by the time we finish, our election amongst ourselves will be described as the one which is very just, which is very fair, that even the world will appreciate our gains in democracy. So on this is what I would like to see. The Electoral Commission should reason with all the political parties and stakeholders in this exercise, so that by the time we all end, everybody will agree, will accept whatever the outcome of election results will be in this country.
Right. Right. If you're just joining us, this is the newspaper review segment of Good Morning Africa live on Pan-African Television. A reminder that we are live in 46 other African countries via satellites in some parts of Europe and South America. Those of you who are watching on Facebook at facebook.com/Pan-African Television, many thanks for your time. You can send your messages through that medium. Alternatively, as you can see, a text line has been displayed on your screen. Make sure you leave your thoughts with me. I'll read them. Let me take time to read a few more. Hello, Bless. Please ask Mr. Edem why the CPP failed the youth by not voting for the impactful historian and lawyer Yawanoche. It's a big shame he lost. Okay, thank you very much. That brings me to the CPP and its presidential primaries. You have a flag bearer now, after all the issues, many months of tussles here and there. But you do have a flag bearer now. Is it somebody you wanted?
I wouldn't say somebody I wanted or not wanted. We have two candidates after the entire process of opening and closure of nomination and vetting. We had those two candidates to contest, and somebody said we disappointed the youth and so on. The youth were also delegates who took part in last week's election. So in all the 275 constituencies across the country, those who own the party on the grounds largely are youth. So if they go into election between the two and they think that they want the woman or the immediate past chairman and leader of the party to lead, that is not an individual's choice. It is the collective choice of the people who were delegates to elect the flag bearer.
Was it your choice too? Or you will not reveal? You know this case?
Oh, personally, I was responsible for organizing the party towards an election that will produce a flag bearer, and that is what
that has been achieved.
That has been achieved, and I know that my committee and I did a very great work, and we have done it excellently. We have elected a flag bearer. I wouldn't say because as Congress Secretary to say that this is my choice of candidate or that is my choice of candidate, but I am happy that the party today has successfully conducted elections.
Is there a general consensus? Is there a general consensus that especially the leadership of the party, do you see from where you sit, as somebody who organized this, who played a pivotal role in bringing this about, do you see your colleagues in the CPP, especially those in the top hierarchy, lending support to Madam Kumakuma for the upcoming election? Do you see that sort of unity? And that sort of togetherness? Yeah,
it is, and it must be, because if you go to the MPP and NDC, you have variety of candidates contesting election. But once the process is over, we must come together. We need to come together, because you say you want to win power. You can't win power when you are most divided, right? So I am sure today, any leading member of the party will support the candidate. And I'll be surprised a leading member of the party or position holders of the party or members of the party who are even not position holders who decide that because you elected candidate A or B, we are not going to vote. The interest of the party must be looked at and served first. That is the only thing we have. So I am much convinced that all our membership across the country, the rank and file of the party will support the presidential candidate together we have elected to take the party into the 2024 elections. And it is the surest thing we must do to raise the bar and to increase our vote turnout in the various polling stations across the country and reposition this party for the better. That is our biggest and only priority from today till December 7th. Yeah.
Right. I'll do a few more messages. Bless, good morning to you and your panelists. I wish you have time to read this. Bless, Free says, nobody says it's not good, but the challenges are more than the benefits we derive. These are just a few issues to consider. There are children today who have very good grades, yet they refuse to go to the tertiary institutions because they know they cannot perform and have always asked to be enlisted into security services. My son is one of the SHS, in one of the SHSs, which I don't want to mention. He reported on the 5th January of 2024 and closed and went on vacation on 13th March 2024. Resumed on May 2024, went to vacation again on 5th July 2024, and they are to resume on 27th September 2024 and will go on vacation on 5th December 2024. In all these, I paid for classes fee organized by some schools for 3 months, and anytime he was on break, feeding, very bad accommodation, and classrooms are not in the best shape. You bring suggestions, you are considered an opposition. The question I ask is, who is the Bar Association president? Yet the president stood against him. Who again but themselves? Timothy sent this one. Thank you, Timothy. Let me read this one also, which says, good morning, my brother. I hope the religious bodies are in this country, especially Assemblies of God, Apostolic, Catholic, and other churches with COPs leading them. And I hope the problems about Ghanaian voters register is ringing in their ears. I believe they will be silenced if Nanado, MPP, and EC boss plunge this country into catastrophe. Kofi G sent this one. Let me say a hearty good morning to my boss, Kwame Wosudan, who has just joined. Kwame, good morning.
Good morning, Bless.
Yes, Kwame is a man who has an opinion and he doesn't shy away from sharing them. He's here in Saka Salia's stead. I just spoke to Saka on the phone. He said he woke up at 9. He woke up at 9 and realized that it was too late to be on the show. But we are great to have you. At least we do have a full set. But we've been talking about the voters register.
Yeah.
The National Democratic Congress, they have asked their sympathizers to protest against the anomalies that are in the register. So on 17th of September, that protest is happening, which is next week. Your thoughts?
Well, I have always held the view without any equivocation that we are a peaceful country by reason of our deliberateness in respect of ensuring that there's some democracy. And democracy, by the conventional definition, does not necessarily achieve a peaceful end. It is the intentional acts and omissions of people we have placed into specific areas to ensure that that democracy is protected, who have to act in ways in furtherance of that democracy. And the Electoral Commission, by the Constitution, is a body in whose office we have entrusted that aspect of democracy that ought to be protected. And when I say that aspect of democracy that ought to be protected, I'm talking about a situation where every Ghanaian citizen, irrespective of where you come from, gets the opportunity to elect your leaders. And that is the only time Ghanaians are able to freely express themselves without let or hindrance. And they freely express themselves in choosing leaders who, in their estimation, will best further or advance their aspirations as a people. I must admit, and I think that it is trite, that all of us are very much aware that where we are as a nation, we've gotten to a point where we need to experience better leadership. And we need to ensure that we act in ways which will protect the interests of the Ghanaian people. So the Electoral Commission as a body is mandated to ensure that the true will of the people are upheld through the conduct of free, fair, legitimate elections. Now, in 2020, under the leadership of Madam Mensah, we experienced what has now become an unprecedented levels of machinations characterizing the conduct of the 2020 elections. And indeed, concerns were raised, albeit that the persons who raised those legitimate concerns were not able to substantiate those concerns when they were given the opportunity to so do in court. However, all of us are aware that the conduct of the 2020 elections were fraught with several challenges. Vote rigging, vote buying, snatching of ballot boxes, people dying, and all of that characterized the conduct of the 2020 elections. Now, 2024 elections is an elections that, you know, all of us are interested in, and all of us are not, are waiting for a leader who will come and take us out of this dark abyss. Somebody who will come and change the fortunes of the Ghanaian people. And so we are not going to sit aloof, watch unconcerned, continue with all the rhetorics and the platitudes without demonstrating the rancor, you know, quite forcefully that we feel as a people. So I'm happy that the NDC has been very vigilant in an attempt to protect our young democracy as a nation. Bear in mind that without the eagle eyes of the NDC, all of these things would have gone unnoticed.
Yeah.
That you have a BVR machine that is in the hands of an ordinary person. If I say an ordinary person, this is not to disrespect anybody, but somebody who is not an officer of the Electoral Commission, who has no business whatsoever using the BVRs. No business. But same is in the possession of the BVRs and the BVDs. The question is, why? Why is it that these people that we are talking about, all those people that we have identified as being in the possession of the BVRs, they were not in the possession of sin in 2021? I don't know, I stand to be corrected, but did you ever hear, Gabi, that BVRs were in the hands of persons who were not officials of EC in 2021?
No.
Oh, no, not 20. Oh, what about 2022? Oh, okay, no. What about 2023? So why 2024?
Yeah.
And even the 2024, not in January, not in February, not in March, not in April, not in May, but in the dying embers of the process leading to the main event. That is when you see people possessing the BVRs and traversing the length and breadth of this country. The fact that we only arrested this gentleman and the other people in Sawam and the like doesn't mean that they have not gone to the voter region, for instance. It doesn't also mean that they've not been to the northern region. It doesn't mean that they've not been to the Ashanti region. Indeed, the fact that we caught someone in the possession of BVDs tells me that perhaps in the stronghold of the MPP or in the stronghold of some other political parties, okay, we have people who are unlawfully registering people. That is the That is the only desired conclusion we can arrive at. Because as it stands now, we can only conjecture, but we are conjecturing on the basis of that which is in, which is known to us. And that which is known to us is the fact, which remains constant, that there are individuals who are not officials of the EC who are in possession of these BVs and BVRs. Look, the EC has a responsibility, and that responsibility is to ensure the smooth sailing process leading to the election of a leader, which leader is a true reflection of the will of the Ghanaian people. Yeah. Apart from that, the EC has would have misconducted itself. So I am happy that the NDC is acting in the best interest of the Ghanaian people by ensuring that they put the EC to strict accountability. And that is what they are doing. So if the NDC today is saying that on the basis of the exposés, if you like, or on the basis of the knowledge that some BVDs and BVRs are in the possession of people, we want a forensic audit to be conducted so that in the final analysis, we will go into the election with clear conscience, knowing that the EC or what's it called? The register is cleansed of all persons who are not supposed to be on the register to vote in the 2024 elections. What is wrong with it? I am very happy that the NDC is doing that. I am also very happy that the NDC called for a live telecast. Okay? So that the Ghanaian people will follow the conversations that will ensue between the NDC and the EC in relation to that which we have come to know, that the BVDs and the BVRs are. So we need a proper forensic audit. We need to audit the machines. We need to audit the register so that all of us will be happy. Recently, you recall that when people were going to verify and check where they are going to vote, you realize that some people were transferred without their knowledge. Yeah. They were transferred without their knowledge. So imagine the chaos that would have characterized the elections in the event that that had not been identified and people went to their polling stations in the belief that their names were there and they were going to cast their ballot. Imagine the chaos that would have happened. Why do we want to deliberately plunge this country into chaos? Why? So I am for the demonstration, particularly also because the Constitution enjoins us to demonstrate our displeasures in the event that there are some actions and omissions which contravenes the legitimate flow of events, particularly elections in this country or the conduct of same in this country. So I am happy that the NDC is doing that, and I wish them well. And indeed, if need be, all of us are going to join, because this is our fundamental right given to us by the Constitution, and we must exercise same. So I support it, and I think that all well-meaning Ghanaians who have the interest of this nation at heart, and who by all means would want to ensure that there is this continuation of the democracy that we're enjoying, to partake in the process. It doesn't matter. Even if you are in MPP and you are aggrieved by the actions and the omissions of the EC, you should be part of this demonstration. I don't think that must be reduced to an NDC exercise. It must be an exercise that will, be an embodiment of all persons who are not happy with what is happening in this country. And in the final analysis, peace and democracy would have been the ultimate victors. And that is exactly what we must all do. Whether you are CPP, as we have the CPP General Secretary here, whether you are PSC, as you have my brother Audi Shak winning the General Secretary position, or Bernard Mona being the flag bearer, if you are Movement for Change, Honorable Alan Kojo Chairman, if you are Mahama, if you are, all of us must rally support and push the NDC to ensure that the right things are done so that we can have free, fair, legitimate, proper, clear elections.
Right. We'll still stay on the Electoral Commission because at the RA conference yesterday, the president made some comments in relation to the EC. He says the EC must act with impartiality regarding the upcoming elections. He also touched on the declaration of the results where he urged political parties to not put it upon themselves to declare the results before the Electoral Commission, but they should allow the Electoral Commission to do the declaration. But there are scores of our viewers watching on YouTube. Let me extend heartfelt felicitations to all of you, those of you, Earthly Child and Kobina Sego. Let me take time to read some of your messages. This one here says that it's an insult on the sensibilities of Ghanaians for Akufo-Addo to propose private schools to Ghanaians who complain about the quality of the free senior high school program. He has continuously disrespected Ghanaians. And this one here says, Ghanaians should be ready for what's ahead. For what is ahead is bigger than we have ever seen or heard. Okay, the remaining parts of the message I cannot read, unfortunately. But we are still staying on the Electoral Commission. The president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he has been making some comments. And he says that we should allow the EC to declare results, the EC should be impartial, and a whole lot of things that he's been saying. But I'm sure particularly the National Democratic Congress will be asking, is it the same person who has appointed card-bearing members of his party to the commission saying this? Is he truly expecting the Electoral Commission to be impartial? Gabi?
You answered that question for me. He says he expects, but you go and pack the whole place with party functionaries and party sympathizing apparatus and tell us that you expect. We don't expect. We don't expect. How do you send a serial communicator to go to EC? It's like NDC is sending me to Electoral Commission to go and do Electoral Commission job. Everybody knows that where I'm coming from. So definitely, you know that even in my own psyche, what I'm sitting there, everything about me will be skewed one way or the other. But you are telling us that despite all that you have done, you expect that the EC should be free and credible and give us a free and fair election. We are not going into this election with our two eyes closed, though. Akufo-Addo has shown us too much. So we don't believe. But the only part where we have some assurance is that there are still some credible technocrats who man the EC offices in the district and the regions. And they are the ones who give us some assurance that perhaps there's a silver lining of hope. But when we look at the headquarters and the people at the commissioner level, it does not inspire any hope and any credibility. But unfortunately, you see, when Akufo-Addo was making all those appointments, Ghanaians sat back and gave him the free will to do all these things. So now we can't complain. Even though we see with our eyes the consequences of what he has done. We sat aloof and watched him do all this. And we have to deal with the consequences. And the consequences is that we don't trust the leadership of the EC. And that is a fact.
Right. I'll do some more messages. Mohammed Misbahudin says, greetings to my sister Gabriela Tete I salute KOD for his eloquent submission. Bravo. And this one came from Kekeli. Sheriff Mohammed comes back to say that if any chaos happens during the election, Madam Jane Mensah and Bossman Asari will be held responsible. Your mama is winning this election. Okay, thank you very much. You again come to ask when we'll be coming to Techiman. It says good submission by lawyer Kwame Usudan. So please, Kwame, when will you come to Techiman? Okay. Greetings to the people of Techiman. Thank you so much for always doing the watching. Nazir Muhammad says, good morning, Bless, and your panelists. How come the EC themselves didn't see that a polling station that should be 500 has 2,000? This is either deliberate or super incompetent. If the CPP man is saying that they had problems locating voters for their candidates, why are these small parties not making noise? This is not about just the NDC alone. This is about rescuing the nation. All right, thank you so much. But let me come back to you, Kwame Osudan. So on the president's call to the Electoral Commission that they should act with impartiality in order to engender confidence in the commission. Does this come as a surprise to you?
First of all, let me extend a voice of greetings to all my colleague lawyers who are in the Ashanti region. I'll join them later today.
Sure.
And to say that it was well organized. And let me also commend the outgoing president of the Ghana Bar Association for such erudite speech yesterday. I loved it. I really did love it. For the first time in the history of Ghana Bar Association, a lot of my colleagues have come to the conclusion that it appeared very patriotic. And some were even saying that, hey, the guy is preaching NDC manifesto for the first time. You know, but it's not about preaching NDC manifesto. It's just a demonstration of where we are as a country and the fact that you can no longer hide the truth. You see, you can't hide the truth. You understand? You will be forced to speak the truth. Do you understand? In the belly of time, the truth is revealed. So you can pretend all you want, but when the reality sets in, you will be forced to admit the truth. And that is what transpired. So congratulations to all our colleagues. I'll see them later this evening. But in respect of the impartiality of the Electoral Commission, when we say impartiality, we're talking about lack of bias. When we are talking about lack of bias, we are talking about the possibility that you will be fair in any process whatsoever. And that is why sometimes in court, if the way I know Gabi like this, if she were a judge and I appear before her, she would have to recuse herself because the perception would be that she would not be able to dispense with justice fairly or equitably. So she would have to recuse herself. But it is born out of a certain relationship between myself and Gabi. So Gabi could be my sister, Gabi could be my best friend. So on the basis of that, I say, oh Gabi, this one, you have to recuse yourself. In fact, Gabi herself will recuse herself because she knows that she will not be fair, okay, in dispensing with judgment. Or even if she would be fair, the perception would be that in the event that she rules in a manner that does not go in my favor, I would be upset with her, our friendship will be mad, and therefore she has to recuse herself. So that is bias, right? Now let's look at bias, or the perceptive principle of impartiality in the exercise of electoral processes, right, conducted by the Electoral Commission. Now, nobody would have had an issue with Jane Mensah alone, even though in 2020 she misconducted herself. Nobody would have had a problem with her, okay? Because then, over time, she would have come to understand the office that she occupies, and she would have been forced to do things right. And I believe she's going to do things right in 2024. However, with the appointment of known card-bearing members of the NPP. It further reduced that growth that people were having, or that genuine belief that people held that the EC would come around after all. I mean, the final line should come around. But when they appointed known NPP members, it raised a lot of questions. Number one, is it that Jen Mensah is beginning to appreciate the office that she's occupied, and therefore she's going to do what is right and what is fair? And so we need to bring other people who would come in and protect our interests. Therefore, there's the need to appoint other people who are known members of the NPP. See, first question. The second question is it also possible that the appointment of these known card-bearing NPP members will divulge sacred information to the NPP so that they will be able to conduct themselves in that light so that they can win the elections? That's also a fair question. Now, it beggars absolute belief that any sane, reasonable, somebody with the presence of mind and somebody with an appreciable knowledge of events and fortitude in the future will take a decision which is hinged on the possibility of creating a conflagration in the event that that decision, okay, or in the event that the person who was appointed by reason of that decision conducts herself in a way that will not engender confidence in the process. You see? It beggars belief, bless. Now, the president is on record to have opined without any equivocation that he was not going to hand over power to any other candidate except his party, except a candidate from his party. He's on record to have said that. Members of the NPP, leading members for that matter, in fact, ministers of state, cabinet ministers are on record to have also pontificated that they were going to win these elections by hook or by crook. They are on record to have said that. Okay? Are you not surprised that in a sudden turn of events, the president has suddenly taken a sharp U-turn and is speaking in otherwise patriotic language? Because after the pronouncement that he made, and after the pronouncement made by the agric minister, what's his name?
Brian Echampo.
Okay. The president, in his subsequent speeches, is now toning down. What does that tell you? Because see, in the conduct of elections, you may think that it is only the political actors and players and the political elites in this country who are playing, you know, their roles. But it goes beyond that. There's also the involvement of the West. And I'm sure that they've called him to order. Hey, my friend, stop misbehaving. I'm sure they've called him. My friend, stop misbehaving. We supported you. You came to power. You have goofed. Somebody else is likely to come to power. So, my friend, all these pronouncements that you are making are retrogressive comments, and therefore refrain from them. So the president is now beginning
to tone down.
And that is what became evident when he was given the opportunity to speak at the bar conference. That is why he's saying that the EC must do what? The EC must be impartial. Yeah. But you see, again, and let me reiterate that mere rhetorics and platitudes does not engender confidence. The actions and omissions of people are what will engender confidence. What that means is that if the EC is telling us, or if the EC, okay, wishes to be impartial in the upcoming elections, then they must do so now. Then they must heed to the reasonable, logical, legitimate request by the NDC to conduct a live telecast conversation, okay, in unraveling what happened relative to the BVDs and the BVRs. Because you see, impartiality by itself is not a destination, it's an enabler. So if you're going to be impartial, you must do X, Y, Z, so that in the final analysis we'll say that, oh, the person was impartial. But with the conduct of the EC, albeit that the president has said that he must be impartial, she must be impartial, I am not convinced in my mind that the EC will be impartial. However, the impartiality will wallow in the face of the very many Ghanaian people who have decided that they want change, to wallow. It will be consumed by the very many young people who have lost hope and are beginning to find hope in the NDC because they are going to vote for Mahama. So the numbers will defeat the principle of impartiality. And I'm saying this, that the EC will attempt to be impartial. The EC will attempt to be impartial. But the numbers, the way people will vote for the NDC, the EC will not, but to remove the cloth of impartiality and embrace the linen of partiality.
Or bias, right.
So that in the final analysis, peace will prevail. Because you see, and let me say this, the way people them are eye red, bless, the way people make aggressive. I have been engaging a lot of the young NDC young people on the streets. You know me, I'm a street boy. Sometimes I go to Abubushi, sometimes I go to Malam, sometimes I go to Kaneshi, sometimes I go to Fiesta Royale. All the boys who sell, sometimes, oh, Charlie, 10 Ghana, 5 Ghana, I give. And we engage. And they said they voted for Akufo-Addo. All of them. Oh, Master, I told my Akufo-Addo. I told my Akufo-Addo. Hey, Papa, they were mafia, hey, pal. That's what they say. And if they will tell you the truth, I'm sure they will tell you exactly what I'm saying. They won't. So people make war for this country. And you see, when somebody has lost hope and they have nothing to lose, don't try to fight with that person, because they can kill you and kill themselves, or they can kill you and have the consequences. And I keep saying that if we don't do what is right, potentially we are creating a national security crisis, because 14.47% of our youth are unemployed, inclusive of people who have graduated from the universities, inclusive of people who have graduated from the SHS senior secondary schools, inclusive of people who, through no fault of theirs, were not able to access SHS or the university, and they are home and they have nothing to do, inclusive of people who, by reason of the wickedness of government, Galamsey has taken over their lands, and therefore they have to come to Accra to come and find something to do, which people would have otherwise been farmers, cocoa farmers. By reason of the fact that because of the wickedness of government, bless, we have lost 67 to 70% of our cocoa farms to Galamsey, because all of them would have been cocoa farmers. So all these people in Chile say, Omo jija, Omo mobo, Omo nyeni daso. All these people are going to vote. Bless. The daughter of the cocoa farmer, who otherwise should have benefited from
that scholarship,
the cocoa board scholarship, or whatever scholarship. The cocoa
secondary school. I never saw the cocoa farmer's child or that for scholarship.
Exactly. You see, the cocoa farmer's daughter, very brilliant, very intelligent, but because the father doesn't have money, they have a scholarship. Who would have benefited? They have given it to their cronies.
Oh.
So all these people, bless, they are waiting to vote in 2024. Bless. They are waiting to vote in 2024. I'll end soon. I'll end soon. Please. I'm sure he agrees with what I'm saying. Bless, get fund. You and I know there are people here very intelligent but needy. They don't know anybody, they don't have any links, so they will just go through the normal process of getting support from the state so that they will be educated and they will share their knowledge with the state and they will work in Ghana and develop Ghana. Those people have been denied.
And because they are coming from rural communities, they go and impact their communities.
Bless. So all those people are waiting to vote. Finally, bless. For the thousands of young middle class people who were gainfully employed in the banks, in the microfinance companies, in the savings and loans companies, they were gainfully employed. You see this administration, I don't think that they reason beyond their noses, and I'll explain why. You know the banking sector, when we're in the university, okay, now then I'm sure you bear testimony. When we're in the university, all of us, in fact most of my peers wanted to work in the bank. Why? Because you'll be easily employed. It was easier to be employed in the banking sector than the public sector. So a lot of the young people who came out from these universities were employed in the banking sector, the microfinance, the savings and loans, all those companies. And what it did was that, because most of those people were also from poor homes, what it meant was that they were going to create a buffer. So they would now take care of their younger siblings through school. They would now send some money to their mothers in the village so that the mothers would buy drugs. They would now be able to also build a small home. Okay, because they were gainfully employed in the banking sector. That is what they did. So it was a cycle. Bless will get a job. Bless has a younger sister, Ohima. Bless will make sure Ohima completes school. Okay, through the small salary that Bless is making. Sure. Now through that same salary, Bless will be able to support the family in the village. Bless will be able to rent a small house, and Bless will be able to marry and take care of his children. So through that, people were okay. Now in Ghana, Bless, I kid you not, there is no middle class. The middle class has been deliberately collapsed by this administration. But the question is why? They want to create a class system where it's either you are rich or you are poor. Something that countries that were suffering from civil war in 1994 are running away from. Something that Paul Kagame is deliberately building. We who built it long time ago have, through our whatever attitude, have collapsed it. So now there's no middle class place. So all those people are waiting for 2024 to make a resounding, vibrating decision. And the EC must be weary, must be warned, must be advised that the anger that is in this country right now. Bless, yesterday somebody sent me, and I'll end so that senior will come in. Yesterday somebody sent me, in fact not just somebody, my wife's uncle sent me, I don't know whether it's a flyer or something, but that KK now is 7 Ghana cedis. I'll share with you. A bowl of KK is now 7 Ghana cedis. You know I don't like my KK with green pepper, right? Right now, they don't give you red pepper anymore. They give you green pepper. Because now you have to buy the red pepper. Bless, in my area, if you don't know you want to do tuno, today you want to eat KK with this fish and shrimps and things, bless, you won't spend less than 100 Ghana cedis. You won't spend less than 100 Ghana because fish is very expensive now.
That's true. Very, very expensive.
Bless, a basket, you see this tomato that we buy, and I'm told that tomato is even around.
It's now in season.
It's now, I mean, I won't say in season, but I say around. I want to speak the local language so people understand. They said tomato is around. The last time I went to buy tomato, okay, The woman said that thing is 700 Ghana cedis. And I said, please, you give me half of it. Because I like to buy it in box so that Charlie said, oh, give me. Because today, the price will be 700 Ghana cedis. If you don't buy it today, you say, oh, I don't have money, you go back and you come, it is 800 Ghana cedis. A bag of Yasmin rice is how much? Now, Gary is a delicacy for the rich. Gary, delicacy for the rich. Because now it's so expensive that if you don't have money, you can't even buy it.
I afford it.
So, all these people, these market women, these farmers, these people who have been thrown out of employment, okay, in the banking sector, the young people who are on the streets, the young people whose lands have been destroyed by reason of galamsey, all those people. And in fact, people who have been haunted by this administration unjustifiably, whose lands, you know, they've been seizing people's lands.
Yeah.
If people have lands in prime areas, they will connive and they will come and steal your land. All those people are waiting. The chiefs, our revered chiefs in the Volta region, in Efutu, our revered chiefs that we revere, we respect, who have been disrespected by the Nadako Kufado. They are all waiting.
Stand there, greet me, I'm coming.
They are all waiting. And then his bodyguard will be using his left hand to address our chiefs. Hey, if the people in those constituencies go for NPP, then they don't respect their chiefs. I'm telling you. Because all those people are upset. Imagine you came to my house, bless my father. You come and disrespect my father in my house. Bless, you won't go alive. I promise you. My father in my house. But they Akufo-Addo disrespected our chiefs. Akufo-Addo is the one reason why there is disunity now in Ghana. Now this thing about I am Achim, I am Ashanti, I am Volta is coming back, it's creeping back into our body polity. Something that Nkrumah fought against, something that J.J. Rawlings also tried to protect. Akufo-Addo alone has brought it back. Akufo-Addo alone has brought it back. So we are waiting. We don't want any disunity in this country. When J.J. Rawlings was in power, we didn't have the voter secessionist group. When Thomas was in power, we didn't have the voter secessionist group. When Mahama was in power, we never experienced the voter secessionist group. When the Akufo-Addo came to power, no voter secessionist group.
British Tubula.
So now, because of your own advancement of or the advancement of your own political parochial interest, the country must be destroyed so that you will benefit. You saw Akufo-Addo. Okay, well, I'm told that when he retires or when he's booted out, he will go and stay somewhere in France. So now he doesn't care. But you see, in conclusion, bless.
Oh, even if he goes to Guyana,
he will come to Ghana.
He will bring you back to Ghana.
So you know the things in Guyana. You see, let me tell you, it is not nice. It's not fair. Okay, I'm not for corruption. I don't like corruption. However, you take small and give the larger chunk to the people. This is not me promoting corruption. No. This is me telling you that you are so stupid that you just want to take everything. That today you have ministers who have dollars in their polytanks, $1 million under their beds. PDS scandal, Kelvin GVG, boss contaminated scandal. Kwame Usu, the PPA guy. Skytrain. $245 million invested in African games that nobody watched.
Yeah.
$15 million for food. $15 million for food.
I spotted the masses that was used for the all African games with Henry Cortes.
I am highlighting the things that will give people reasons to vote in this year's election. Okay, ostensibly sending a clear warning and a signal to the EC that if it fails to conduct itself well, the Ghanaian people will deal with them.
Right. Briefly, Mr. Agbinya.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've taken all your time.
It's all right. Bless, I think we have said it all, that we need to have a successful and peaceful election.
Right.
And this is one of, if it is not the most, one of the most crucial elections that we'll be having. It is only fair for the referee, the national referee, to do anything possible that will lead us safely and end us safely. Anything short of that will be something that will not go well in the history books of this country. But before I leave you, we've not been able to deliberate on Galamsey. But Galamsey issue in this country has become a serious issue that where we are now, it is that we have failed the process. All attempts that the government put in place over the years since they took over power, including telling the Ghanaian people when it become worse, he will leave office or he will put his presidency on the line, it's become a total fail. But where we have reached, if we fail to take the steps, the necessary or immediate steps to suspend issues about Galamsey and the water bodies that we are seeing around us, why Ghana Water Company cannot provide us clean water, it is a serious issue.
Right.
And if you do not know, university teachers are saying, UTAG National is saying, they are giving the government between now up to the end of this month, 30th, if they refuse to stop Galamsey happening in our forests, happening on our farmlands, around our homes, they will strike. So government must bear in mind that this is a space, whatever they have to do, and those who are taking care of Galamsey sites, being it those who are with Minerals Commission, the security services, the traditional leaders who are all into Galamsey or see Galamsey around their background, this is a warning to them that they have up to the end of the month. When we finished Congress, a NEC meeting in Kumasi, and I was coming to Accra. I don't know the last time you visited Kumasi. Kwame, you are going to Kumasi this afternoon. You asked you are going. Just check.
Right by
just
the
by the road.
In Etiwa?
Yes.
Where?
The main road. Around Atiwa.
Oh, what is that?
Etiwa Kono.
Mining is taking place there. And if you see, you will cry for this country. It is time that we all put our hands on the table and say, we have done enough of this. We have spoiled our own environment and our natural resources over the years for far too long. If there's any proper way, let us look for the proper way and adopt, instead of the bad way that we have all come to appreciate and adopt just because of corruption and bad leadership.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agbinya. At times, I've received tons of messages.
I want to just add something to his concluding remarks. I think that, you see, Bless, Christian Council, they shouldn't go to any Galamsey site and go and pray again. we don't need prayers. God heard the prayers and God, see, they say that God knows the affairs of men, but sometimes God needs you to act, so He puts the wind behind you. When you go and stand there and pray, what do you ask them to come and do? Send rainfall into the river to wash, and then these people are still there mining. They should stop. They shouldn't go there and pray. They should go and tell their congregants that they should vote Akufo-Addo and the NPP out. Those who have formed themselves into association and preachers or pastors, prophets, going around campaigning for NPP to break the 8. Tell them they should go back and see the mess that has been created. If they don't know this, I will give them a tour of Central Region. They should go and see what is going on there, and they should stop that the nonsense they are doing. We don't need prayers.
Ambassador Sampiale is watching. He extends his greetings to all of you. He says reports indicates that the majority of Ghanaian youth have become disenchanted with the democratic process. The only hope they have is that on December 7th they will have the chance to vote for whatever changes they desire. Therefore, anything to rig the election will spark disaster. How can the president, who says he will hand over only to Bawumia, now say he will ensure free and fair elections? Kwame, you sabi sense. This one came from Ambassador Sampiale. Thank you. I like the submission from the street guy, KOD. Now, KOD is known as the street guy. He's speaking the truth, but the ignorant people will not listen. Okay, thank you. Kwame Akufo-Addo is a chameleon. Don't trust that man. His words cannot be trusted. Sami and Adenta, thank you, Sami, for your message. Good morning. In fact, the mixed gender and complexion has given your discussion much attention this morning. The EC needs to be neutral because it has already plunged the country into disarray. The religious leaders need to voice out because in the midst of tension, no religious leader will be considered. Thank you so much. The president says parties should not declare results. Has he forgotten how he replaced the former EC boss with his own favorite, appointing known MPP apparatchiks to the EC, the missing DVDs, the illegal transfer of votes, pardon registers, etc.? He should rather tell the EC to do the right thing, accept the forensic audits so the EC can regain some impartiality and restore confidence in the EC. Mujib Rahman from Wa. Thank you so much for your time. My boss says I should read a few more messages, and so right. Good morning, Pan African TV. The NDC is worried and perplexed by the AC because we are in a case where Gerard Piqué is going to officiate an El Clasico match between Barcelona and Madrid. Just imagine the genuineness of the match. Greetings to Honorable Daniel Mahama, PC for Talency constituency. Honorable Mark Ketnawani, victory awaits them come December 7. This is Pelnap Evans Kobel from Dagliga in the Upper East region. Okay, good morning, bless. For God's sake, what does this woman want to achieve cry in wanting to destroy Ghana? As for the president and his loose talks, the better. We don't talk about it. Bibi from Accra. Thank you. Our time is up. People from the MC are already in the studio. Right. Right. Thank you, Gabi. Thank you, Mr. Agbenya. Thank you, Kwame Osudanso, for sitting in for Saka Salia, who was unable to be here for some reasons. And to our cherished viewers, we appreciate you. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.